welcome to Luxury Legends and Leaders. I'm Carrie Zeier, the VP of eXp Luxury, and I am your host today as I have got some of the hottest names in luxury real estate joining us. First up is someone I have admired for so long. He was number one in all of eXp Realty for 2024, and it is a name that you will know and love, and that is Kyle Whissel. So welcome, Kyle. How are you?
Oh, it is a big day. It's a big whirlwind
I
day, and we're
know.
just having some fun.
I hear you have some real scoop for us.
Yeah, I think we just put on a little marketing masterclass for people. So hopefully, I think we scared some people yesterday with some of the posts and stuff we put up. But those that recognize game, there was a fun game played yesterday, and I feel good about how it was executed.
All right, so tell us some scoop. I know we've got so much to talk about in our short time here, but I've admired you. You've built such a great team, and now you have this big announcement. I've been crazy busy this morning, so has it been announced, and can we talk about it?
Yeah, it is official now. So Daniel Beer and I, we have run our EXP organization together, known as Fast Forward Movement, for 7.5 years now. We've got roughly 12,000 people that are a part of Fast Forward Movement that were responsible for about 120,000 home sales last year. 120,000.
Wow, amazing.
And so we've run our teams here in San Diego separate from each other for 7.5 years. And about a year ago, we started to have the conversations of like, what would it look like if we, instead of running side by side with each other, what if we ran together? And so we've worked on it for the last year now. And officially, as of today, as of 6 o'clock this morning, it's official. So Whissel Realty Group is no longer, Beer Home Team is no longer, it is now Whissel Beer Group. And so collectively, we did almost $1 billion last year. We've done over $7 billion in our careers. And we're just super freaking excited for the future.
I love it. Well, a huge congratulations. Dan has been a guest as well on our Luxury Legends, and you guys are just on fire with what you built. But I think it goes more than that. It's the culture that you build, it's the lives that you have changed. And, part of our business is so great to be in the moment that you're in right now. But a lot that are coming in are watching this success. They haven't seen the years that it has taken for you to be in this seat right now, announcing really one of the biggest mergers that has happened to eXp Realty. So if we take it back, today is about, we have all types of listeners. We have those that are getting into real estate. We have those that are scaling in real estate. So, and then we have those that have really made it big as yourself. But if you look back to your early beginnings, give us some brief, insights of, I know you were really raised in the business, but that doesn't always give us a pass for success. So what are, some of your big obstacles in the beginning that you persevered through, that you look back and say, wow, that was a big moment, and how it's led to where you are now?
For sure. So growing up, I hated real estate. Love my dad to death, but growing up, real estate, my parents were divorced when I was like 4. And growing up, real estate sometimes took priority over me. So whether it was like showing up late to games or being out of town when we were supposed to be together, things like that, I didn't have the most positive associations with real estate growing up. Now, my dad got into real estate in the 70s before I was born. They moved from Buffalo, New York here to San Diego. And so he's been in real estate from the day I was born, and I just didn't always have like the most positive associations with real estate. So that's the biggest hurdle, is to actually fall in love with real estate. The way that happened is when I was in college. I was 20 years old, and this was in the early 2000s. My dad kept pushing me. He's like, you got to buy something, you got to buy something, you got to buy something. I was like, Dad, I scoop popcorn at a movie theater. He's like, doesn't matter, just fog this mirror, they will give you a loan. And they gave me a loan for $500,000 for a 3-unit property. And I sold that property a few months later, and I made $17,000. And at the same time, the movie theater gave me a nickel an hour raise. And I was like, all right, F this. Let's talk about this real estate thing, Dad. And so that was how I got the bug and got interested in real estate. And so I worked with him on the commercial side, primarily multifamily, for the first 5 or 6 years. And I got to a point where I was like, hey, this has been fun, but I'm ready to go do my own thing. I'm ready to step out. And I decided when I stepped out that I liked commercial, big checks. That was great. But early 20s and big checks, I wasn't nearly as financially savvy back then as I am today. So I would just blow all of that money. That money was going to Vegas primarily and just doing dumb stuff with that money. At the same time, I started to see people on the residential side. They were closing 100 transactions a year, 200, 300. I remember I got a marketing piece from Greg Newman, who I have tons of respect for here in San Diego. We sell a home a day. They sold 365 homes in a year. And I was like, holy cow, that sounds way better than this, like sell a home a month or sell a home a quarter, like building a quarter. So that's what got me to transition over to residential and to start my own brokerage. So I ran my own brokerage for 12 years. And then I looked at selling the brokerage because I thought it was worth like $10 million. And they told me it was worth $1 million. I was like, oh, crap. Why am I running a brokerage?
Right.
If this is all it's worth, it's not worth it, right? I don't want to deal with all the headaches and the stress. It doesn't make sense. And that's when we joined EXP, which has been, obviously a huge thing for us and the best moves we've ever made.
To unpack, you said there's so many nuggets that you spoke about in that, and so many. I was a broker owner. There's a lot of and I look back at more of the traditional way of owning a brokerage, and then this new company, EXP Realty, really trailblazed and changed the way it was. So was your own brokerage more of the traditional, the splits and that sort of thing? Is that how you ran it, or were you always more out of the box?
So we were more like the teamerage would be the term, where you're functioning as a team, but you're actually a brokerage. So we were much more of that. And now I still think we're a teamerage, but like the opposite version of it, where we're not a brokerage. We're just a team within a brokerage, but we're the size of a brokerage, right? I mean, our new combined entity, Whissel Beer Group, is, including all the staff, is well over 200 people. Right. So now we're bigger than many brokerages, but we're still just a team. So it's funny. We were a brokerage that functioned as a team. Now we're a team that functions as a brokerage. So it's interesting how that works.
So with many of our listeners, we did really pump today about teams. And like you said, although you're your own brokerage, you ran it like a team. I would take that was you give out leads. You had different setups than a traditional brokerage that they just paid the broker owner. So let's start when you started. You had it for 12 years. Did you immediately have a team? And if you're coaching someone right now on maybe they're a single agent, or maybe they have 3 to 5 agents on their team, what were some of the growing pains that you built it to this magnitude?
For sure. I would argue that everybody has a team day one. And if you don't realize that, you need to, because the person who does your loans is part of your team. The person who does your home inspections is part of your team, right? There's all of these people that are involved in the transaction, the title company or the attorney, the escrow company, all those people are part of your team. And so I would say that every person has a team. The day they start, they have a team. And some people don't realize that. And they just use whatever random vendor. And that's actually a mistake, right? Day one, you should establish who are my vendors? Because if you use the wrong lender and that lender screws the loan up, you know who looks bad? You, because you're the one that sent them to that lender, right? Or your inspector, misses stuff, or maybe they talk too much, because there's those types of inspectors too that say things they shouldn't. That's going to reflect negatively on you. If that's the case, those are part of your team. So you should assemble the right people to support you in your business day one. Before you ever have anybody on payroll, those people are still a part of your team. And so I encourage you to make sure that those people that are part of that team that help make your transactions happen are the right people. So I would start there before we ever even talk about hiring somebody. Now, absolutely. With that said, with that said, once you've ensured you have the right team around you to make sure that when you do get into a transaction, the right people are there to support you. I think that if there's a saying that always stuck with me: if you don't have an assistant, you are the assistant. If you don't have an assistant, you are the assistant. There's so many people that are doing so many tasks that are holding them back. I've had an assistant since day one. Like I've never worked a day in my life without an assistant other than when I was underneath my dad. Once I left my dad, I had an assistant every single day I've been in residential real estate. There are so many tasks that we are all doing on a daily basis that we could outsource. And that could be to AI now, that could be to a VA, or that could be to somebody locally. You have 3 options now. It's crazy the tasks that people do, but they, in their head, they justify it with this flawed logic that like, well, I'll just do it myself so I don't have to pay somebody $20 an hour to do it.
They're saving money.
Yeah, in their head, they're saving money. And now look, Carrie, they're right. They did save $20. They didn't actually have to hand somebody a $20 bill because they did it themselves. The part they're forgetting is how much money they cost themselves.
Exactly.
So sure, you might have saved yourself $20 for that hour of work. Maybe it was like putting flyers on doorsteps, something like that, right? Sure, you saved yourself $20 an hour by doing it yourself, but how much did you cost yourself, right? Exactly. So now think about what's your goal? How much money do you want to make this year? Let's just run with $200,000 because that's the new 100,000. So let's assume it was 200,000. In a typical year, you work 2,000 hours. So therefore, your time, 200,000 is your goal, and you're going to work 2,000 hours. Your time's worth $100 an hour. So sure, you saved yourself $20 by doing it yourself, but you cost yourself $100. So the net effect of that was you lost $80 by saving $20.
Yes.
And I think people don't think about that stuff enough.
And you were spot on. I joined real estate 2005. Actually, my first company was Keller Williams, and my team leader looked at me and she said, go exactly what you said, go get your team. And I was thinking team as agents, and no, she meant the industry leaders. And it stuck with me forever. And I do wholeheartedly 1000%. You are as good as the team you put around you, from your mortgage lender to your everything, from who you use inspections with, the entire process, who you close with. It just helps. And I like you, I was very fortunate to have those people in place for many, many years. So you formed your team of that. You had that in place. You got your assistant. What were the bumps in the road? What were the challenges that, looking back, you learned from them, obviously, and corrected quickly, but there's always those challenges.
Yeah. So even when I talk about this, it literally like hurts to say some of these stupid things that I did. So I had big accounts with banks, because we did a lot of foreclosures, because I jumped into residential in like the 2007, 2008 time period. And I had all of these listings from all of these banks, which was amazing. And then I started to get all these buyer leads that were coming in on all of these listings. And it was just me and an assistant at the time. And for a period of time, like as I ramped up with that business, I could take all those buyers myself. But then we got to a point where there were just too many. And so my first thing I did is I had a friend who owned like a Coldwell Banker brokerage. And I was just like, hey, dude, you have a bunch of agents over there. Can I just like send you my leads once a week? And then if you guys convert them, you can just send me a referral fee. Think about this, guys. Like once a week, I would export the leads and send them over to some other person and just hope a check would show up randomly. Like it was crazy. Yeah. Guess what? No checks ever showed up. So I was like, okay, this is not working. So then the second thing I did, I was like, I had a couple of friends that were like, dude, we'll take the leads. So, all right, cool. I'm going to build a team. And I had 2 guys and I just started sending the leads to them. And no checks ever showed up either. And the reason was I never trained them. I never led them. I never managed them. I never held them accountable, right? There's a term, we run our business on something called EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. And inside EOS, one of the key terms they talk about is you have to LMA people, lead them, manage them, and hold them accountable. I didn't LMA those people at all. Magically, they didn't sell anything. And so I don't even know how much money I threw out the window during that time period. But then eventually I got over it. And it's funny, I remember it vividly, it was a Black Friday. And when you actually used to look through the newspaper and they had sales, you had to like beat people up at the door to get the TV or whatever. They had a sale on computers at Dell. And I was sitting there and I was like, this is so stupid. F it. I'm going to go big. And I bought 10 computers. And at this time I had a 10 by 10 office, and now I own 10 Dell computers. And I was like, all right, I need a bigger office. So then I went and I leased a bigger office. And I was like, okay, I have a bigger office. I have 10 computers. Now I need people. And so then I just hired anybody and everybody. I basically, the same way they gave me that first loan, which was fogging a mirror, that was like the interview process. Like, can you fog the mirror? Great, you're hired. And so I lost 6 figures that first year. There's a lot of people that are running teams that are losing 6 figures a year. Some of them don't realize it, but they are. I lost my face off that first year. And what I learned that first year is like the importance of culture and understanding the avatar of like who is the right fit for your team. And what I learned is the more senior agents were not a fit for our team. Like at that point, I'm like, I think was that maybe early 30s, late 20s, early 30s. We're so tech heavy. And then I was hiring people that didn't even know how to log into their damn email account. It's like, how are you going to like dive into a CRM like Boomtown at the time and like manage that when you don't even know how to log in your damn email account? So I was just hiring the wrong people. And not that those people can't be successful. They just weren't a fit for our culture, right? They weren't the avatar for our team. There's plenty of teams with my biggest competitor in one of my markets. Like, guy still has a pager. Guy still uses carbon copy contracts, right? He's fine. He actually does extremely well. So it's not that somebody that's more senior can't be successful. They just weren't going to be successful in our world.
Right.
And so once I really understood, like, what is our culture? What's the right avatar that's going to be a fit? We went from 82 transactions to 242 transactions in a single year. So that was a huge learning lesson as well. So there's a bunch of them mixed in there.
Yes. No, I think it's great. And, and you hit on, I mean, if we're recapping for our listeners here, getting those people in place, like we said, the industry leaders around you, hiring that assistant, the right one. And, and I like what you said, it's always finding the right fit. I mean, I get asked a lot, how do I hire an assistant? And it's usually the opposite person of you. That would be a great assistant, right? And it really have strong profiles as realtors. So knowing that profile is pretty good to do that. And then the buyer's agents. And to your point, not everyone is a great lead converter. I've seen some of the top agents out there, but you can give them a lead, and for some reason, like you said, there's no check return on that. So this is amazing advice. So
let me hit on that real quick too. That's a mistake to hire buyer's agents first. You got to have a rock star admin first. I think that's everybody's like logical first hire is like, oh, I got to get more agents. I got to get more agents. No, you don't. You shouldn't have agents until you have your systems and your processes dialed in. Because if you bring the agents in first and you have busted systems and processes, you're going to lose the agents.
Yes.
So I think that people should have I call it like a rock star admin. Like you got to have a rock star admin in place. So that person is, the beginning, they're your assistant, they're your transaction coordinator, your listing coordinator, your marketing person, they're your everything. You got to have that person in place before you go hire buyer's agents. I think people right out of the gate just want to hire more agents. They think that's the solution. Like, let me show this to you guys. We have about 160 agents in the new entity. We have 60 support staff, right? It's about a 3-to-1 ratio of agent to staff. Like that's how much support we have in our company now. So for some of you guys think like, oh, I can go get 10 agents with one admin. Good luck. Let me know how that works out for you a year or two from now.
So let's talk about, because I know we only have a few more minutes. How did you scale? You put your systems in place, and you've done so excellent for anybody. I mean, I agree with you 1000%. When you have those systems and they're that strong, that's your foundation. But then not everyone has had the success you have. So there's still that secret ingredient that, you've done this, you put it in place, we all have failed forward at some point in this business. But when did it really just catch wind that you were like, this is good, I'm building something really strong here?
Yeah, I have a mindset that it's really cool to win. It's way more cool to win with your friends and to win with others.
Right.
The thing that I found is a lot of people build a team thinking that the way that they're going to make more money is to have more agents. Yeah. But they hate people. They don't like people, but they think that they need people to make more money. The reality is you don't. Brian Danny in our organization on the team has sold over $100 million in a single year. We have multiple agents in our company who have done over $1 million a year in GCI on a team. But some people think that they need to build a big team to get to that next level, when the reality is they just need to be on the right team to get to that next level.
Absolutely.
And so people jump in to try to run this team and they don't have the right mindset. Like, I get a high off of seeing, right, Brian Danny and pointing him in a direction, and he goes and he succeeds. And then the beauty is when he succeeds, I get to succeed with him.
Yes.
When Carly on our team and I point her in a direction and she goes and she succeeds, I get to succeed with her. Like, I freaking love that.
That's awesome.
There's a lot of people that aren't built that way. If you're not built that way, if you don't get a high off of helping others succeed, like, you probably shouldn't run a team. If it's about you, like, if it's all about you all the time, like, you're going to suck as a team leader. And I think a lot of people have fallen into this trap thinking they need to run a team. No, you don't. Just support yourself with some really amazing rock star admins and go sell and go be a badass. But you don't need to hire a ton of agents, because you're going to hate your life if you got to manage 15 agents and you don't enjoy that. Like, you don't get a high off of helping them succeed. Then you probably shouldn't go run that big team. And I think a lot of people think they have to run a team to get to the next level. And they put themselves in a situation, they end up making less money. They're having way less fun. They're less happy, and they're working more hours, and they have way more headaches. And so I just want to encourage you, like, if you're watching this, think about that. Like, do you really get a high off helping other people win? And there's nothing wrong with you if you don't. I'm not telling you there's something wrong with you, but I'm telling you there's something wrong with you if you don't get a high off others winning and you think you're going to run a team successfully.
And that leads us into the great, amazing culture that you built with the Fast Forward movement. I guess obviously your mindset, your heart for helping others win, but what are some other, culture is the one thing I think it's very hard to define. That is definitely a secret sauce, a secret ingredient. And when you look at companies with great culture, it's like, wow, and it attracts. It is not recruiting. It attracts to, the success of it and what you built. If you had one advice out there to build that culture, I know, you and Dan have a great one together, and you've told many stories on stage with it, but share our listeners just a tidbit on how to create the magic when it comes to culture.
Yeah, I think core values have to be more than something that's on a piece of paper or something that's on the wall. Like, it's got to be, what do you hire to? What do you fire to? What do you give raises to? Like, it has to be the hub of everything. So our core values, we won't start a weekly company meeting until we get at least 3 core value shout outs, which means somebody in the room has to shout somebody else out for upholding one of the core values during the past week. So that has to happen. We will not get into any content until that's done. It's important to us. Like, that's the first thing in every meeting that we do. We have a channel in our Slack for core value shout outs, and that thing's lit up all the time. We do awards every quarter for whoever has been upholding the core values at the highest level during the previous quarter. And then we do annual awards. And when we do the annual awards, we actually make the core value awards more prestigious than the production awards.
Oh, yes.
Because the core values are more important than the productions in our organization. So we actually make a far bigger deal about the people, and those awards are voted on by the agents. And so the agents vote who, and not only who, but why, and they say a little something about each person. And so when we give out those core value awards, which are the final awards we give out at our meeting, we actually share a couple of the quotes from the people who voted for them. And it's pretty cool to hear, like, right, Carly got the Grow or Die award because boom, 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 right? Adrian got the With Positivity award because boom, boom, boom. And it's so cool to watch. Yeah. And so when you can truly make those core values a part of what you do, it changes everything. And when you actually fire, like, the best thing, when you fire a top producer because they break one of your core values, like, you want to make a statement of how important your core values are, fire a top producer that breaks them. And the company's like, oh, they're not messing around.
Yes, I
Super
love
powerful.
that. You are absolutely correct. Oh, I could not agree with anything more. Everything you're saying is so spot on. Okay, Kyle, next year, this time, what are you going to be bringing us? 1 year from now, what's it going to look like for the Whissel Beer Team?
So a year from now, we should probably be about 500 agents,
Wow.
doing multiple billions of dollars in production a year from now.
Amazing. Well, I am like you. I love to see people win, and I'm so cheering you all on. You've deserved it. You're icons in the industry, and we appreciate so much of your time today. I know it's a big day, and for you to come on to Luxury Legends and Leaders and to share this, and I know that our listeners today are taking some notes and implementing some amazing strategies. So thank you, and we want to wish you the best of luck. And tell Dan hello, and we'll be checking Instagram regularly today for you.
Sounds good. And I'm excited for you guys to dive in with Brett. You guys are blessed to have him sharing with you today. He just recently joined our organization and has come in and made a big impact really quickly. And I'm so excited to watch this guy grow.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. All right. So we are here at the Luxury Legends and Leaders. Now we are streaming in studio, so we want to hear your feedback though. We have Jeremy on standby and he keeps updating us with great questions and the feedback. So let's keep it going. How great was Kyle Whissel? Oh my goodness. I loved it. We could have talked another hour, which was, we only did 30 minutes. So next up is Brett Sobrowski. Brett and I met actually, I think last month at the Inman. He had just joined eXp Realty. And of course, I was so excited. He had just finished a Fast Forward Movement meeting and a big weekend. And I said, hey, I'm at Inman. And he jumped in his car and he got to meet all of our team. He got to meet Charles Bornheimer, our CEO of Lux VT, and Wendy Forsyth was there, our CMO. But Brett, we absolutely adore that you have joined eXp Realty. I just love your infectious personality and really just, wow, you've come in as really a leading team, a brokerage owner when it comes to straight luxury real estate. So welcome. And of course, we want to hear your background, which is so interesting out in LA. So yes, definitely welcome to the show.
Thank you. And I'm doing the call from my car only because my office is so busy right now. So I came out to my car because this is my we have an office in Manhattan Beach, but it's an open office concept. So everyone's in there working, and I first I said everybody just get off the phone. I was like, I can't do that. So I'm in my car. So thank you for having me. Great meeting you a month ago. Let me just start by saying, there's an old saying, never meet your heroes. Well, I met Kyle Whissel last week for the second time. That Kyle is, and what he's doing, you'll meet very few people who are so successful, but so humble and understate what they do. So I've been doing this 25 years, and I have a luxury brokerage. I have my own team. And so I met Kyle through the Fast Forward movement. I met him at the retreat. I took a bunch of notes, by the way, from his talk. And I said, Kyle, I said, you don't really know me. I said, but I'm going to be forming my own mega team again because my passion is leading, coaching, mentoring, building, selling real estate. And I said, would it be okay, if I just kind of asked you some questions? And he says, why don't you just bring your team down to San Diego and spend a couple of days with us, and we'll just open our playbook and show you everything. I mean, we went down last week. We were there for 3 days. Unbelievable. Literally, any person we wanted to talk to, here you go. Show them everything. Here's all of our systems. Here's all of our training. Here are our new agents. Here are the people that run the marketing. I mean, who does that, by the way? And that is, I just want to, that is the culture of EXP and the collaboration. And I want to say one publicly thank you to Kyle for all that. My team was just so amazed. So I wanted to start with that because I felt remiss if I didn't at least say that. He just runs an insane business that I learned so much. So I got that out of the way, but I want to make sure I did give Kyle the proper shout out.
Well, no, he is known for that. And to your point, not many team leaders or broker owners at that level do that. And but that's a testimony to why he's number one. You know, many coaches out there say, open up your playbook, because not everybody, even when you open it, are going to do everything anyway. It's implementation, right?
Yep.
It's all about it. All right. So
Yep.
let's talk about you, Brett. How did you
Yes.
get, I love this story. How did you get into real estate?
Well, all right. If we're going to have a real conversation, it was 25 years ago, maybe 1999. I want to say it was definitely pre-2000, and I'd moved to California. I got my degrees in nutrition and exercise physiology from Virginia Tech, and I had worked for a company that managed health clubs. And I remember I was managing this health club in Palos Verdes, California, where actually I live now. And I was so excited, and I had worked a really, really, really hard week and trained people, and I had a big paycheck, at least I thought it was. And I went Friday, I go to the bank and I go to deposit my check, and I know the teller, and I'm talking to her, and I give her the check, and I see a stack of checks sitting there right next to her her desk. And on the top is a check for $50,000. And I look at her and I go, who gets a check for $50,000? And she goes, realtors do. And that was my aha moment. I said, well, I'm going to change my profession. That was and keep in mind, $50,000 in 1999. So a much different.
It's a lot of money now.
It's got to be. It's a lot of money now, but that's honestly how it all started. And then I had a friend in San Diego who ran a mortgage company, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll do mortgages. And I had some clients that did real estate, and so the universe brought me into the right direction. Even though I tried to mess it up a couple times, it kept guiding me. And I went to work for an amazing company called Shorewood Realtors in Manhattan Beach, California. They were they had 400 agents, which for an independent brokerage back then, even now, that was a big deal because there weren't that many back then. And they were one of the top in the country, and just amazing training. And I worked there for 5 years. And then I had my Jerry Maguire moment. And I walked into, because I was having some challenges, and I walked out unemployed. And I said, what am I going to do? And I said, I have one kid, one on the way. And I go, what did I just do? And I said, I'm going to start my own brokerage. That's what I'm going to do. And that's how it started. That's literally how it started. There's an old saying, they said it couldn't be done, but the damn fool didn't know better. So he did it anyway. So that's how I built my real estate business and my company.
Well, your Jerry Maguire moment had to be, though, leaving the bank, knowing you're going to go into real estate and show me the money. But as you know, it's a long road after that.
Yeah. It is. It is. I will tell you this. Nobody is successful on their own, and you need people around you. Everybody does. And the more you embrace that, and the more you accept that, and the more you use that as a superpower, the better you're going to be. And I learned in the beginning, I tried to do everything. And Kyle's so right. Like, I was doing everything. What changed my life in real estate was when I hired my first assistant. Mm-hmm. And who's with me right now? And she now runs my company. And those are life-changing moments that you wish you had done earlier.
Yes. For sure. So you go into, it took you how long to say, I'm going to start my own brokerage? You came in as a realtor, you learned the business, that was what, 1999, you said, 2000?
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah. So it's 1999. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just leading them in. How long were you as a realtor before you went into your brokerage?
So I knew when I got started, I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I've had businesses my whole life. I ran when I was a kid, 5, 6 years old. I had lawn care businesses in, Virginia and North Carolina, and I hired my friends. So I always knew that I was going to run my own company.
Right.
And if I can talk anybody off that ledge on this call, give me a call and I will talk you off that ledge. But it's the truth. It's the truth. The world has changed. The business has changed dramatically. And so I knew in the beginning I was going to do it. So it took me about 5 years. And I said, okay, I feel like I have a good enough base to start a company, start a brokerage. And that's what I did. And I started with apps. I didn't have a name. I started with nothing. I didn't have an employee. I didn't have a company name. All I had was a broker's license and a lot of drive. And I just figured it out as I went along.
That's perfect. All right. So you get in. Did you run a traditional model? Because I really want to compare the model you
No.
were in and then what is so appealing to the model that you're in now.
Right. So when I opened the brokerage, I said, okay, how am I going to compete with the big companies and the people that are established? And so, maybe it's a mistake, maybe it wasn't, but I said, I'm going to compete on price because they just offer way more than I could ever offer.
Right.
And at the time, no one was doing this, but I started with a 100% commission business where we were going to be transactional. And so agents would pay a desk fee. They would keep 100% of their check and they would pay a transaction fee. And I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to have the best brokerage ever. Nobody was doing that, by the way. And so it was very, avant-garde for the time. So I bought this, Kyle's story. I bought this building in an A+ location. I put in all these desks, private offices. Back then you had phone systems. I spent like $100,000 on phone systems. I had a really, really, really cool logo, right next to the ocean. I've got the best looking office. I mean, I have spent all my money. I'm all in, and I open the doors and it's crickets. Nothing.
I'm laughing only at your story.
The old "if you build it, they will come." Well, no one came to the company. And by the way, that was 2007 when I did this.
Wow.
And then 2008, 2009 hit. And so dark days for sure. And we just struggled. We struggled. I learned that agents really, really, for the most part, price isn't their number one concern when it comes to working for a brokerage. It really isn't. And I thought, well, if you had the cheapest price, they'll all come work there. And when I left my company, everyone's like, oh yeah, we'll come work for you. And no one ever did. No one ever did. And so you had to learn, you had to adapt to what people want. And people really want to work for a company that has people they know, people they like, people they collaborate with, that offers value and provides them a way. And price is very low on that list. And it took me a long time before I realized that. Look, our company went up to 110, 120 agents, well over $1 billion a year in sales. So we built it up. But it really wasn't a model that could be sustained anymore.
So definitely, if you lived through those times of 7, 8, 9, they were a tough market. And then, of course, we all came out of that. The survivors did, into 12, 13, 14 and off. So when did it sounds like you adapted, you put better systems in place. And then what were some of those keys? I know when Kyle was here, he went through his steps of his systems. Was there any key thing that you did? Obviously, you stayed with it. You turned out of that downturn of the market. But if you look back or you're giving advice, what were some of those things that and granted, we were in different markets, you're with a different company, there's different things that were in place, but what were some of the core things that really changed and built and really what you've built was incredible. I know you've changed out of that and changed broker or brands, but you're still Brett. You still made it to the top. How did you do that? What was some of the secret breakthroughs?
So sorry, I had a little technical difficulty there, but I can hear you. Hope you can hear me okay.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are we good, Jeremy? Okay, I can see you now.
Sorry. Yeah, here's the thing. I was sharing this in a team meeting this morning. Darwin's theory, and it's true. It's not the smart.
Yeah, Brett, it's not coming in clear for me. Jeremy, can you all hear on your end?
Give me 1 second here.
Okay. We're making it work in our technology world.
I know. Can you hear me okay?
No.
So I was sitting in my car. Let me do this. Let me log out and log right back in.
It's not coming in, Brett. Let's see if we can give it a few more minutes and see if he can straighten that out. But wow, today has been absolutely amazing when I get to speak to two of the top team leader previous broker owners, and now they are both with EXP. Kyle, of course, shared some great, amazing news today, and he has taken the #1 spot at EXP Realty. And then when you combine he and Dan Beer, absolutely wow. So great things to watch and to see from them. Brett is, as he said, just joined and brought his brokerage over to EXP Realty, to this amazing model. And, we are seeing more and more broker owners such as Brett coming in because of so many obstacles. I know as a previous broker owner myself, when you look at the EXP model, there is nothing better, because if you do have a heart for the agents, all agents can grow here, not just the team leader or not just the broker owner. So we have absolutely loved seeing the success of these team leaders and broker owners coming on. So thank you all for tuning in. Brett, do we have you back?
I'm here. Sorry, I tried to move around to a different location to find something that was clear. Does this help at all?
It's perfect. Yes.
If you guys want to see, by the way, this is downtown Manhattan Beach. So the ocean's about 100 yards that way.
Don't make me jealous, okay? I love Nashville, Tennessee, but I'm landlocked. No water around me.
I'm from Virginia, so I wasn't landlocked, but I was right there with you. And sorry, I don't know what happened to the phone. My phone got a little wonky there. But I will tell you, to a couple of Kyle's points, and I was running a brokerage. I was still running a team. It's still the same concept, but one of the things that we couldn't do is we couldn't keep up. We couldn't keep up with technology. We couldn't keep up with support. We couldn't keep up with all the back end. We couldn't keep up with all the other things that, our real estate world is changing. And so our agents were, asking like, hey, what about our international marketing? Hey, we need a better Canva, or hey, we need better lead generation, or relocation, and all these things that you really, as an independent broker, it doesn't work anymore. You can't do it, and so EXP gave us the ability to take all of those items that we couldn't do and they were too expensive, and they did it and ran it for us, and it has changed everything. My agents love it, absolutely love it. And it's a learning curve, but it is all the things that people are asking for. And I got to tell you, I'm so, and I kind of in some ways feel like I just started real estate again, and it's the truth. And I wake up, and I'm just, I'm always excited when I wake up in the morning, but I just wake up and I can't wait to go learn some new skills and talk to people and hop on calls. I talk with Eliza Studo all the time. And, we're doing Zoom calls. I was with him in Scottsdale. Colton has been amazing. I'm going down to see him next Wednesday. And, all these different things, I think my only regret is not doing it sooner.
Absolutely. And we hear that a lot, actually. So much we hear, because as you say, why would you, there's too many tools that we have that you could never replicate on your own as an individual brokerage.
No,
There's
it's too.
just too much. And it lets agents be their very best, which then they can go shine for their clients. And that's what, one of the reasons I love it too, is, all these tools, whether it's EXP luxury or just simply the realty side. But let's talk about the pure luxury real estate.
Yep.
Obviously you're in a great area of luxury real estate, very high prices compared to the rest of the nation. Have you always, was it just, you think it's where you're located outside of LA, Manhattan Beach? Did you go straight for the luxury market? Did you evolve into it?
Yeah. So I think a misconception is people think, oh, I want to just get into luxury. It doesn't work that way. So, I mean, maybe for some people it does, but for me, it didn't. And I started off, I hustle. So I went anywhere I could find a deal. And I went all over LA, places I would never work now, but because I would go anywhere. And because if you know LA, it takes an hour to drive anywhere, right? And so I didn't care. And but what I did is I learned that I started off in the markets where people would be receptive to me, and because I wanted transactions. And people say, oh, well, these houses are 8 and 10 million, I have a big commission. Yeah, but if you don't sell them, there is no commission. So I'd rather go sell 10 $500,000 homes than try to get that one $5 million home. And so I started off doing that. And but what I did is I gravitated towards areas where people were like my age. You remember, this is 25 years ago, so I'm in my mid to late 20s. And as I sold them houses, they had life events, and they were, getting older and buying and moving up. And so you start to get into those markets with them, and you move with them, and then you need a little luck. And I had a couple of lucky breaks where friends referred me to people who, had big listings, and I met with the sellers, and I met all the buyers through that and sold it. But it took me a long time to get into that market. But I think I've been selling consistently high-end homes probably at least the last 15 years.
That's amazing. And you said it so correct. I think so. There is a misconception out there when you say, I am a luxury agent. And I too have been a luxury agent for 20 years, but I have sold everything, whether it's short sales, foreclosures. It started in a market where, just to get into that market, it's at the lower level, but it led to the high. Now, the consistent luxury agents keep those high listings as well. But, with luxury, I've always said luxury is a service. It's not necessarily a price point. And when you implement that, to me, you get the business on all levels. So I loved hearing your story of the hustle behind it. And yes, the work pays off. And then of course it's amazing to get those $5 and $10 million listings and all of that. But too, if you look at the bread and butter of real estate, it's always been, some of those lower prices, but that's the bread and butter of it. And helping people, have home ownership is amazing. So I love that part of your story. So what's next for Brett? You are now in EXP Realty. You brought your team over. You so many things. So what's on the horizon?
So I am an idea person. A big idea. I remember when I first got in the business, the agents really got in the business, made fun of me, and they probably still do, by the way. But but I remember someone said, they're like, "Oh yeah, Brett thinks he's going to be this big realtor, and he has all these grandiose ideas, right?" Because they were in my training class, and I said, "You're damn right." Of course I have. Well, if you don't have big ideas, what are you doing, right? And so I have gravitated. I am building back my own team. I'm building a mega team because, having EXP to run all the back end and all the other things and all the tools gives me the ability to do what I love to do. I love to coach. I love to mentor. I love to build. And so we are building our mega team, and we're using, Kyle, Dan, Ed Kaminsky, Colton, Elias, those guys are mentoring and helping and showing me what they do. And we're gonna build a team, and we will be in the top 10 at EXP next year. You can write that one down. And we're opening Zabrowski Group locations in different states. So I've already met people who want to be a part of what we're doing. And one of them, by the way, might be Nashville. I'm having talked to somebody.
You're
I'm having talked to somebody. Yeah. Yeah. Right. But really, it's more about the coaching, the mentoring, the systems, the collaboration. Those things transcend any state. So our job is the same no matter where we live. You live in Florida, you live in Wisconsin, you live in California, you live in North Dakota, you live in Hawaii. We have the same needs, the exact same needs. And so that's my goal. We're going to probably have 5 or 6 different locations in different states. We're going to grow our market here into West LA and down Orange County, which are north and south of us. And but my goal is to make some noise in a very positive way, and to grow our mega team. And look, there's an old saying: if you want to be successful, find successful people and do what they do. And that's what I'm doing. I'm learning from them and growing. And you'll see the Zabrowski Group will slowly start creeping up that ladder of the EXP top teams. You can write that one down. You can. That's a Joe. That's a Joe Namath guarantee. That's a Joe Namath guarantee right there.
I love it. Well, you dropped a lot of names, some big names. I love so many of those people out there. I know Ed Kabinski is one of our council members and very instrumental in starting the EXP Luxury. So lots of great people out there. California is on fire. We were out there at Inman together. We talked about and then I went over to build LA. And one of the things we were talking about is many states, in the United States are seeing a transitional market right now. Yeah. But still, we were talking, what is the difference in California? I feel like some of those agents are not feeling it as much because it's just more insulated with it's still a huge attraction. People still want those homes, and there's still not enough. So right. I think you're in an amazing market doing some amazing things. Manhattan Beach is one of my new favorites. Got to go out there a couple of times this year and just love it. So we're excited, Brett. You are a breath of fresh air. We appreciate your authenticity and really coming in and really, what we're building here at EXP, but it's really for the agents, it's for the team leaders, it's for, of us all working together in this incredible culture that has, caught on and caught wind throughout the world. So we appreciate your time today. Next time we want to see your new offices and see what you've got going on. And
you want me to show you? Want me to just peek in real fast to my office real fast?
Sure. Yes.
They're all there. I'm just gonna.
Yes, we are streaming. Woo! I love it.
That's our downtown Manhattan Beach office. I will tell you this just before we go. It's been great. I've had probably 10 plus people from EXP reach out to me since I joined, because I've done a couple panels. Anybody that wants to call me, I am an open book, because I believe in giving back exactly what I've been getting, and so I've had people call me and say, hey, I want to get into this luxury, I want to do this. Feel free, anyone, to call me, and I'll share any insight I can.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brett. Thank you, listeners. What an amazing time we've had today. From Kyle Whissel to Brett Zabrowski. Wow, 2 of the tops in not only in our industry within EXP Realty, but after all, we are here for everyone. Whether you are part of EXP or you're in another company, we are one industry. And as long as we stand strong together, promote each other, lead with integrity, we all win. So we are here every month. The 3rd, I don't even know what day it is. It's the 4th Wednesday of the month. We are here every month, and we want to see you. So tune in, and thanks again, everyone. And I look forward to seeing you next month. Take care.